Look, my stats getting bigger and bigger. Look, I shoot the J like I'm Jigger. Y'all said he worried about y'all figure. I'm worried about getting figures.
What you doing? You sleep? You working? What you doing? How old are you? No matter. Work is work. Shout out Gaston. We in here. What you doing?
We've always had great fans at Cypress Lakes High School in Katy, Texas. But with five-star point guard De'Aaron Fox running the show, every Cy Lakes game has become an event. De'Aaron's impact goes well beyond his 33 points per game. He's also an honor roll student, and he's active in the community. He's involved with the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure to honor his mother, a breast cancer survivor.
I just feel like that's what I was put on this planet to do, you know. God gave me a gift to play basketball, but also a gift of speech, so we're here to talk to people, and I feel like that's what we're put here to do, to help other people.
He was named to the McDonald's All-American team last month, and while he seemed cool and collected when he got the news, that actually wasn't the case.
It meant a lot to me, but if you would have saw me, you wouldn't have thought so, because, on the inside, I have all my emotions, but on the outside, I'm just calm and cool, so it meant the world to me to find. That's what every high school kid wants to be when they, before they graduate.
My name is Chris Gaston, born and raised in Houston, Texas, CEO and founder of Family First Sports Firm.
I'm like, wow, like this could really happen. By the time you're 16, like I was drafted at 19, so it was 3 years away.
I didn't really follow the hype.
It was like, whoa, what am I looking at?
I think I was in like 6th, 7th grade, and ever since then, man, he just took me under his wing.
I didn't really talk about whether my son was gonna go to the NBA or not.
We just didn't have it like that, but he came out, sacrificed.
I didn't have a pot to piss in, man. I was dirt broke.
You can't go do another free workout because we don't have any gas.
Family first, as you can see, the fist, represents empowerment. For whatever reason, he always wanted to go to Kentucky. But Kentucky never offered him a scholarship. We're seeing lesser players, Calipari's offering these guys left and right. I'm like, man, what is going on? He had every other offer in the country. So after his junior year, he was playing with the Houston Hoops. They played in a huge tournament in Vegas, and he shut the gym down. Russell Westbrook came, and I never forget, he stole the ball, jumped over a dude that was on the floor, and windmill dunked it. And Kentucky offered him. And so he took his visits, but we always knew he was going to Kentucky.
De'Aaron Fox joins us now from Houston. De'Aaron, the floor is yours. Take it where you will. Where are you headed?
After a lot of consideration and, just doing the visiting process, I've decided to announce that, and since this is such a tech-savvy generation, I'll be attending University of Kentucky.
There it is, Kentucky. He's got it on the smartphone, holds it up. No hats, no problem. Well, De'Aaron, what was it about Kentucky?
It felt like a family there. When I went on my visit, every fan knew who I was. I got off the airplane and people were just greeting me like I've been there my whole life. And getting to know the players and Coach Cal, I felt like I had the best relationship out of any head coach that recruited me. I had the best relationship with Coach Cal. So that's what set it apart.
He went to Kentucky, and so it's like, okay, we conquered high school. McDonald's All-American game, he didn't have his best performance. I remember we were all kind of down about it, like, man. He came back to the gym that week and worked his butt off. The following weekend, he was in the Jordan Brand All-American game, won MVP.
De'Aaron Fox tonight, 23 points, and you talked about it during the game, efficient, 8 of 16 from the field, and a perfect 5 of 5 at the line.
They nicknamed you the General. Why is that?
Coach Cal told me that he nicknamed me the General because all the recruits that committed after me said they wanted to go to war with me. And that's a great compliment coming from my peers and guys that are on top of the world, just like me.
You mentioned the grind of this All-Star trail. How did you fight through it? How did you persevere?
This should be easy. I want to be a pro. And those guys, they play 82 games, so 3 weeks shouldn't be anything to me.
So like, okay, we back on track, man. We back on track. And so, we worked hard that summer, prepared for Kentucky. He packed his bags. His dad and his brother moved out there with him. He got an apartment. And I dang near lived in Kentucky because I didn't miss a game.
Man, college for me was, it was dope. I mean, I went to Kentucky. You couldn't get much better. You really can't get better than that. And I went with two guys that I knew already. I knew Bam and Malik. Me and Malik had already talked about playing together in college. We didn't know that Bam was gonna come, but I was already cool with Bam. So it was dope being able to go there with those two guys. I mean, all three of us being lottery picks. We've known each other since like 8th, 9th grade, and kind of just grew up together and went to school together, seeing these guys every day, seeing them practice, seeing how talented these guys were. Day in and day out was different from what I had ever seen. You know, in AAU, I was, you know, the best player by a good margin my last 2 years, and then high school, you know, you're not playing with guys nearly on your level, especially, you know, if you're probably going to a public school like I did, you're not playing with guys that are on your level. So just being able to see those guys every day during conditioning, weights, practice, whatever it was, these guys are on your level as far as, you know, basketball life. Y'all are on the same trajectory going to the NBA. You see how different guys are, but how similar guys are. So it was definitely dope for me being able to go to college playing for one of the greatest college coaches ever. It was cool.
I didn't mess with him as far as working the modern stuff while he was there. I always respected the coach's time. But, you know, we were at a lot of practices and we didn't miss any games. And, you know, he dominated.
I started off playing well. Then I think I didn't play well between like maybe end of December, early January, just a few weeks. And then Cal brought me in and he's like, yo, this is your team. So I put the ball in your hands and I'm trusting you to take over, do what we have to do, get guys in position. And that gave me confidence. So the last month and a half of the season, last month and a half, 2 months, I was killing it.
I kept the faith, keeping the faith, I know you got it. Yeah, out of my way, give me some space, just family around me. Yeah, putting in work, won't say a word till they announce it. Hey, determined to get it, I'm focused and driven. What you know about it? Thanks to the sun. Hey, you see the melanin? Yeah, we just begun. Yeah, in my element. Came through clean looking like a president. Martinelli porn, we celebrating with elegance. Yes, this for the women you see by my side. She gave me reason to fight. Yes, mama, we made it. I know that you proud. Dad always told me stay true to the route.
He was playing out of his mind. That February of Fox's freshman year at Kentucky, my dad passed away. That February of Fox's freshman year at Kentucky, my dad passed away. And it was like, man, that was a big blow to me because my dad would always push me. He was always hard on me. And I was like, man, he's not gonna get a chance to see me at my peak. Like, he's not gonna get a chance to see me at the top.
You know, we lost his dad. Oh man, that one really hurt. His dad was a huge community person. He had like over 2,000 people at his funeral, standing room only, like every generation. That was painful.
And I just remember even in his hospital bed, because it was just sudden. He just had an artery bust in his head. It was just all of a sudden.
And the crazy thing was the doctors told us to prepare for him to come home. Like, so we were preparing for Mr. Gaston to leave the hospital and go into recovery, and then boom, he passed away suddenly.
I just remember him sitting in his hospital bed, and we sat up there, we watched the Kentucky and Alabama game.
Oh, look at that screen up on top. Look at Fox weaving his way through and counting. De'Aaron Fox. Shot clock down to 3 as he weaves out. Gives to Fox to beat it. Foul! De'Aaron Fox. He's looking to take him off the bounce. You want more, you got more. He's got 16 in the second half alone, 25.
So we just sitting there watching, he was watching with pride. And he couldn't talk. He was on a breathing machine, which like really messed me up, because I remember last time I seen somebody on a breathing machine was Toby, who passed away. And the last thing he told me, this is my last thing I saw him alive, I said, Dad, I'm about to, I gotta get to the gym. I said, I'm about to go. It was All-Star break. I'm like, I gotta work out Gerald Green, who's a Houston native as well. We about to go get some shots up. The last thing he did like this, he couldn't talk, no, he said, he just did like that. And I didn't know that was, maybe I kind of felt it, maybe I didn't, but that was his last parting thing. And then when it worked him out, he passed away the next day. So, mind you, this is the midst of I'm dealing with De'Aaron Fox, who's one of the biggest stars in college. And it was just like, man, it was a lot to handle. But I couldn't let them feel that or see that. You know, right after he passed away, I had to get right back on the road with De'Aaron. You know, I was getting ready for March Madness. And, you know, just real emotion. It was just so many things going through my head. But, you know, thinking about the email I got from Toby or my dad doing this and just all the encouragement, I couldn't stop. I made it this far. It wasn't time to crumble up and stop. You know, by this time, me sleeping on Eric's couch was a far memory. That was 2013. Now we're in 2017. So I'm like, from sleeping on the couch, I got to keep pushing.
Obviously, you start seeing the draft stuff. You go up from 14, 12, 10, and ultimately everybody was saying I was consensus top 5 pick.
He dominated at Kentucky, NCAA tournament. He dominated.
Kentucky takes it away. It's Fox for the dunk. Look out. Can't get him. Fox.
I'm always looking for the next step. I'm like, okay, he conquered college. So I never forget, we were in Memphis. They played UCLA.
Who has his first 30-point game at Kentucky, has 2 more for 32 on the night.
He dominated, obviously, that game, 38 points. So at this time, I'm like, man, I'm thinking on the business side now. I'm like, man, I don't want him to twist an ankle, something happened. He solidified his stock as a top 10 pick in this draft. I'm like, I'm ready to get him out of here. Let's start working, getting ready for the league. So they played North Carolina the next game. North Carolina hit a buzzer beater to win the game.
With 5, looks up, driving in, May for the win! North Carolina with 0.3 seconds to go!
And after the game, everybody was kind of down.
It was tough. We had a hell of a season. We went through that stretch and we lost those games, and everybody talked about, how we looked like we didn't care, and this isn't the locker room that looked like the guys don't care. I love my brothers, man.
I'm sitting here like this, I couldn't find. Everybody looked at me, Gaston, we know you're happy. He's going to the NBA.
It was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer for us. After we lost to North Carolina, Cal brought us in. He was like, yo, y'all aren't coming back. There's no reason to come back. You see some kids sometimes should probably enter their name and end up going back to school saying they want to improve their draft stock, and sometimes it's just not possible to improve your draft stock from where it is. Like, there's going to be a freshman coming in that's supposed to be the #1 pick. You're not overtaking what he did, what he's supposed to be, because it's all potential at that point. So he told, I wasn't going back anyways, but he said, yo, y'all aren't coming back. And that gave me the confidence, like, yo, this one of the greatest coaches. He's had multiple #1 picks, and he thinks that I should be able to go to the NBA now. So yeah, it was time to go.
We started the pre-draft process, man. He left school, packed his bags, and came out to California.
I was like back and forth between LA and school. That second semester, most of my classes were online anyway, so I didn't have to be in class. So it was, after the season, took a few weeks off, and then it was time to get back in the gym, getting ready for these workouts. You have to perform in front of these teams. Workouts can hurt you, workouts can help you. So we were in LA for the most part, and we worked out at Sports Academy out in Thousand Oaks. A lot of people work out there, football, basketball. So that's what I mean. Now you're basically a pro before you're being a pro. You signed an agent, and now, yeah, I'm still doing my online classes, but now I'm living like a pro. Basically, I was by myself. Actually, my dad was there with me, but a lot of times you're by yourself, have your car, be at the gym at this time. You don't have to go to class. Now you start realizing how different it is from being a college student, having a coach call you, tell you practice at this time. They're taking care of your meals, things like that. So now you're 19 years old. I had my dad around, but basically you're on your own. And it was a dope experience. I definitely think that helped me for what it was gonna be like to be a pro, with how much time you had on your hands after your workout, after your weightlifting. Now you have X amount of time to do whatever. And then doing pre-draft stuff, you will probably have an interview here or there, do little appearances here and there. So it was definitely grooming you to be a pro.
We started grinding, man. We started grinding back like we was in 8th, 9th grade. I was like, we got to start all over now from square one.
It was definitely great having Chris around, especially for the pre-draft stuff. Obviously, he was training me for the pre-draft stuff, but he's done that before. He's had people, you know, older than me that have gone through the same process that I've gone through, so he already knew what it was like. But obviously, I was different from, you know, some of the guys that he's worked out with, and for me, it was just like, yo, we're in the gym at this time, and if I'm back at the apartment chilling, not doing nothing. If we want to go back and shoot, we do that. But just knowing what teams are looking for, knowing what they expect in a workout, how they want you to shoot, what they want to see when they come and see you. So for like our pro day, like it was dope. Everybody loved it. We had music playing. It was a fun atmosphere, and we were still able to show what we needed to show, and had all 30 teams there. So it was dope, just because he had the experience of doing stuff like that, and he knew what we needed to do.
It's like we were all getting drafted too. You know, we all started working out, getting in shape, eating right. We had to get in our slim fit suits. We had to look right too. You know, so we had a lot of fun with that. And draft night, man, it's something you'll never forget. It was just so much electricity. You know, Lonzo Ball was there. You know, Dennis Smith. You know, these are all players we've seen. They all came through the circuit together. You know, Harry Giles, all these guys.
Man, the draft for me was cool just because I want to say our first 10 or 11 picks were all freshmen. So like we all knew each other. So it was dope for us. Like we knew most of these guys since like freshman year of high school. So just being able to go through that with a bunch of guys that you already knew, you were McDonald's All-Americans with, you probably played in Jordan Brand, Hoop Summit, played against some in college. It was cool for us.
It was exhilarating. You know, you get dressed, we get on the bus, headed to the green room. And so we pretty much kind of had an idea where he was going. And then when they told us, okay, Sacramento said we're going to take it with the 5th pick. It still seemed surreal until the commissioner walked up and said, with the 5th pick,
with the 5th pick
of the 2017 draft,
in the 2017 NBA draft, the Sacramento Kings select
De'Aaron Fox
from the University of Kentucky.
Hearing my name called, like I kind of knew where I was going, how the draft was going to play out. I don't think it shocked anybody for most of the top 10 where guys were going. So I was kind of nervous a little bit, even though I kind of knew I was going 5, but just hearing your name called on that day is special.
De'Aaron was the first player that I've ever witnessed make it to the NBA and had real ties to. Obviously, we were at the draft. You know, got to sit there when his name got called. Very, very special moment. You know, I think it's one of those things that if somebody told you they could put in words how proud you are of somebody, they'd be lying to you. You know, it's just one of those things you feel, and then a couple of days go by and then you like, can't believe it.
I was just overcome with emotion. I thought about the nights, you know, when I would do camps and combines, and me and my wife would stay up to 2, 3 in the morning.
All night at my mom's house, ironing like letters on shirts.
And I thought about the times of running out of gas, and so that moment was so big for me, man.
Not a lot of people in life get to go through that, get to walk across the stage, shake the commissioner's hand, and basically be inducted into the NBA. That's a totally different feeling. But at that time, I'm like, yo, I made it. You know, I finally made it, but it's a lot more work to do.
At the same time, Damian Dotson was coming in as well in that draft, and then another player that I've been knowing since 13, Jonathan Motley. So I had all 3 of those guys from Houston, Texas. Jonathan Motley went to Baylor, Damian Dotson was University of Houston, and Fox was at Kentucky. So I had 3 players in that draft, so that never happens. These are all kids that I've all known since 12, 13 years old, and now all of a sudden I got all 3 of these kids in one draft, and it was just like, man, everything was moving so fast. There was so many moving parts. And I would go home and just, you know, have moments of reflection, like just on my knees thanking God, like, man, wow, this is surreal.
You know, you don't want to be labeled a bust or anything like that. So right after that, we're off to Sacramento and ready to get to work for Summer League.
They picking sides, they crossing the line. I stick to the truth, I'm one of a kind. Gave it to God and follow his signs. Now all of a sudden I'm stuck in my prime. I'm wishing them well, I threw them a dime. They stuck in the shell, they drowning with time. You see the game, we still undefined. If they coming at us, they better rewind. Yeah.
I want to wear these.
Oh my God, let me see this shoe.
I think it definitely can be hard for players to stay focused on the pro level in any sport, you know, when you start seeing the dollar signs and things like that. But for me, I want to win. Like that's That's what drives, I think, a lot of people. You don't, just because you're getting paid, you don't want to just walk out there and lose every time you go out there. So just for me, it's continuing to get better just to help my team win. That's I think, what any person in professional sports will tell you. They want to win. So the dollar sign, obviously the dollar sign matters, but you step out there, you ain't worried about that. You're worried about winning. So I think that's what continues to motivate me, just to go out there and help my team win.
You see the game, we still in the fire. They coming out as they better rewind. And get used to that, Kings fans.
Welcome back to Undisputed. We're joined once again by De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron, you just hired a new agent, so tell us about it.
So I hired my longtime trainer, Chris Gaston. I had known him since I was in 7th grade. And it's not that hard to become an agent. It's not, but
I wouldn't be good.
Now he knows the game. Everybody that kind of had a question about me would actually call him first.
Okay.
So I think it was just the best option for him to just be my agent.